The Ultimate Fighter is dying. No one's watching, no one's talking, and the UFC is sleeping on the biggest opportunity they've had in years. This show used to build the legends. Kamaru Usman, Tony Ferguson, Nate Diaz, even McGregor made the Ultimate Fighter must-watch TV. Now you barely hear a word about it. Today, I'm going to break down to you why viewership is tanking and why the show still has value, and how putting it on YouTube could revive the entire thing and maybe even change the UFC forever. Let's be honest, the last 3 seasons of The Ultimate Fighter were pretty underwhelming. The ratings were pretty bad. Even when they brought big names like Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, the show barely made any noise. You'd think that that kind of star power would break the internet. Instead, a few highlight clips, maybe 10 creators covering it, and that's pretty much it. Most people didn't even know it was airing. That's the problem. Not the talent, and it's definitely not the fights. The problem is no one has access to it. Let's rewind a little bit. The Ultimate Fighter literally saved the UFC. Back in 2005, the company was bleeding money. They aired season 1 on Spike as a last-ditch effort. And what happened? Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner gave us one of the greatest fights of all time live on TV. It literally blew up the company. Dana White has said it himself. The fight saved the UFC. It got people talking, and it gave fans a reason to care. From that point on, The Ultimate Fighter became the UFC star factory. Michael Bisping came from The Ultimate Fighter, Kamaru Usman, Tony Ferguson, Matt Serra won The Ultimate Fighter, then shocked the world by knocking out Georges St-Pierre. These weren't just fighters, they were personalities. We watched them live in the same house, train, fight, argue, grow. We knew them before they even walked into a pay-per-view cage. That's why fans were so invested. It was reality TV with real consequences, and it freaking worked. The Ultimate Fighter built names, built rivalries, built legends. Now, we've got real talent being buried on a show that barely gets a headline. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's watching it. And worse, fighters are putting in months of work and no one even sees it. That's just a missed opportunity. That's a wasted star. But here's how you fix it. You put The Ultimate Fighter on YouTube. I know it sounds simple, but it would completely change everything. Right now, the UFC's YouTube channel has over 17 million subscribers. They post embedded press conferences, promos, and fight breakdowns. Some of those embedded episodes have a ton of views, and they built up multiple views a day. But the one show that literally made and built stars is buried on ESPN Plus, locked behind a subscription wall. YouTube is where the fans are. YouTube is where new fans are born. And most importantly, YouTube is where the conversations happen. If The Ultimate Fighter was on YouTube, every episode would be clipped, reacted to, remixed, broken down. We'd be talking about rivalries, behind the scenes drama, viral moments like we used to. Content creators like me would have a field day. We'd introduce these fighters on the masses before they even step on the octagon. That's free marketing. That's free hype. And the UFC doesn't have to spend $1 on promo. And let's be real, from a business standpoint, more views equals more ad revenue. Even a mid-tier episode could pull 500K to 1 million views. That's monetized money. That's sponsors. That's exposure. And if the show is actually good, which, let's be honest, most seasons have really, really good fights, then it goes beyond just numbers. You start to build hype around fighters before their UFC's debuts, right? They make it easier to sell fights because fans already have a connection to those fighters. You're not just selling a matchup, you're selling a story. And that's exactly what The Ultimate Fighter used to do better than anything else. As a content creator, this is kind of frustrating. I want to make content about these up-and-coming fighters, but the truth is, most people just haven't really seen them fight. And you can't build hype around someone that the audience has no access to. Putting The Ultimate Fighter on YouTube doesn't just help the fans, it helps creators that literally help push the sport forward. We're the ones breaking down the fights, reacting to drama, giving fighters personality through our videos. The more visibility these guys have, the easier it is for us to make compelling content around them. And it's easier to get fans emotionally invested. I mean, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. YouTube MMA is literally the name of the game. It's not ESPN Plus anymore. YouTube turns unknowns into stories. You create rivalries. You start seeing those this guy's next comments before they even debut. And that's where Dana White comes in. If Dana White sees someone on The Ultimate Fighter blowing up online, boom, highlighted on the Contender Series, or boom, highlighted and fast tracked to a pay-per-view opener. Dana White could literally give them that Dana White privilege treatment. We've seen it before, like with guys like Paddy Pimblett or Sean O'Malley. It's not just about talent, it's about buzz. And The Ultimate Fighter could be producing that kind of buzz again if people could actually watch it. Right now, it's a content machine trapped behind a paywall, and it's helping no one, especially the fans. I think that there could just be incredible momentum and upside for the UFC. It's a business, and most importantly, it's about creating momentum for these guys. If the UFC put full Ultimate Fighter episodes on YouTube, I personally think that they would be printing money. We're talking about millions of views per season minimum. Even a mid-level season with decent coaching drama and maybe one or two breakout fighters could easily pull 10 to 20 million total views. And we got to remember, these aren't just views from North America. YouTube is global. You got fans in Brazil, the UK, Southeast Asia, Africa, places where the UFC is still expanding. The UFC's The Ultimate Fighter could be a global scouting platform, not just an American reality TV show. Right now, when fighters debut, they're like a mystery to like 97% of the fan base. But if they just come off a viral moment on The Ultimate Fighter that everybody saw on YouTube, that's already a narrative that's being built. That's hype that's already there. And let's just be honest, right now, the UFC could use as many stars as possible, because compared to the other years that have gone by, I think that right now the UFC is in a weak state. The Ultimate Fighter still has value, real value, but not if nobody's watching. Not if it's locked away on a streaming service that most fans don't even check out. The fighters deserve better, in my opinion. The fans deserve better. And honestly, so does the UFC brand. Put The Ultimate Fighter on YouTube. Make it global. Make it visible. Let fans comment while it airs. Let them share clips, make memes, create edits. Let content creators break it down, debate it, hype it up. You can't do that when a show is locked behind a paywall. You can't even timestamp a reaction or link someone to your favorite fight moments unless they have a subscription. But on YouTube, you could instantly share a fighter's knockout with the world. You can stitch it into a TikTok clip. You can make a meme. You could create a viral story, something ESPN Plus will never give you. YouTube lets the fans engage, and when the fans are engaged, fighters become stars. And when the fighters become stars, the UFC wins big. And that doesn't just happen behind the login screen on ESPN Plus. I think it happens where the entire world can see. That's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. If you agree, like this video, drop a comment below, and share this with someone who still cares about The Ultimate Fighter. Let the UFC know it's time to stop hiding one of the most powerful tools, and it's time to evolve. Subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it's a pleasure. Peace out and have a good one.